वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. Fifth chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called Karma Sannyasa Yoga, containing 29 shlokas and 3 topics. The first topic, comprising 14 shlokas, discusses Sankhya Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Sankhya Yoga is about Atma Vichara. If you count the contents of your existence, there are 3 things. Body, which is called as matter. Individual soul, which is represented by you. And the Paramatma, the controller of both. Meaning, your body is made up of 5 elements. And it is called as Jagat, world, or matter, or Prakriti. Whereas you are a part and parcel of Shariri Bhagavan. So you happen to be the body for God, and your body happens to be under your control. Paramatma controls everybody. So the relationship that yourself has is of 3 types. One is called as Ayana Sambandha, which refers to association with universal God. And the other one is called as Ayana Sambandha, that is attachment with the world. So, Prakriti Sambandha is actions that you do with your body. Who does it? Triguna, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. These 3 qualities will imbibe you to do your duty. What is Swadharma? Your duty. That is called as Karma Yoga. What is your duty? I must keep my body under control and try to reflect on Paramatma, who is called as universal soul. He is also an indweller in your Dahara Kasha, a portion in the heart, equivalent to thumb size. So, Paramatma indwells in every item, both matter and souls. In matter, he will be in Sukshma Sharira, that is called as atomic. And in bodies, he will be having a Sthula Sharira. Sthula Chirichik Vishishta we call Bhagavan. Sukshma Chirichik Vishishta is the Atma, meaning both the body and our individual soul is a part and parcel of the universal soul, guided by the universal soul. So, if you want to make a search and unite the three, all step by step, body, soul, and universal soul. You have an exercise. This exercise of joining Jivatma with Paramatma is called as yoga. One who wants practices this knowledge of seeing Paramatma through this Atma, keeping the body under control without disturbance from bad and good, evil and good, Dvandva, we call it as. So one who has conquered this Dvandva is eligible for purposes of self-realization, which in turn leads to God realization. It is nothing but yoga. One who practices this is a yogi. So, for self-realization, two yogas are narrated in chapter 2 alone, namely Karma Yoga and Sankhya Yoga, that is Buddhi Yoga, Jnana Yoga. This is explained in detail in chapter 3 and 4. Okay? Your Swadharma, meaning your activity itself is Karma Yoga. But Karma Yoga is better even when one is qualified for Jnana Yoga, as it includes within itself the knowledge of the self. Karma Yoga is characterized by shorter duration to reach the goal compared to Jnana Yoga. So, what are we doing now? We are in search of universal soul, God. Or you must know yourself first. That is self control, self realization. Self realization will lead to God realization. Self realization practice as Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, which are not two different practices. The goal achieved by the two are the same. That's what is going to tell in this particular chapter. Now, when once you attempt to realize yourself, then there are basic step for God realization also, which is the central theme of Bhagavad Gita. Bhakti Yoga and Prabhakti Yoga are the two means through which we realize God. For this, the prerequisite is soul realization, for which there are two more yogas, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, which we are discussing now. Karma Yoga, a part of second chapter and third chapter. Jnana Yoga, a part of second chapter and full of third chapter, fourth chapter. The fifth chapter, Arjuna gets a question. Krishna, you are extolling the renunciation of action. That is the yoga of knowledge. And then praising karma yoga also. Pray, tell me for sure which of the two is decidedly superior for the ultimate good. Bhagavan replies, the renunciation of actions and karma yoga both lead to the highest good. Renunciation of actions means jnana yoga and karma yoga both lead to the highest good. But of the two, karma yoga is superior to the renunciation of action. While granting that some persons may be able to practice jnana yoga, it should be considered that this yoga and karma yoga are independent of each other for achieving the ultimate excellence. But karma yoga excels over the former. That is Sankhya Yoga. That is Ajnana Yoga. While granting that some persons may be able to practice Jnana Yoga, it should be considered that this yoga and Karma Yoga are independent of each other. Since Karma Yoga is happy with the experience of self implied in Karma Yoga and neither desires from nor hates anything in it, and as a result puts up with the pairs of opposites like love, hate, he should be considered to be ever devoted to Jnana Yoga. As an ardent Karma Yoga, he is freed from bondage. Thus declared in the mutual independence of Jnana and Karma Yogas, only those who are ignorant speak of Sankhya, that is Jnana Yoga, and Yoga, that is Karma Yoga, as distinct. He who is firmly set in one attains the fruits of both. That is, those who are ignorant like children who say that Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga are different due to different results, as they think the latter alone leads to the vision of the self and Karma Yoga leads to Jnana Yoga. But both have the vision of self, and the fruit as an aspirant established in any one of them gets the common fruit. Expounding further, the fruit being the same for both Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga, that one who perceives that Sankhya and Yoga are identical with respect to results is wise. He is a Pandit. The Lord talks about, despite both being identical, the area of difference. Jnana Yoga is not possible without Karma Yoga. A Muni no following Karma Yoga attains Brahman early in a short span of time. Whereas a Jnana Yogin does not easily complete Jnana Yoga. Because of this difficulty, attainment of self comes after a long delay for Sankhya Yogi. But a Karma Yogin is busy in actions as per Shastras, aimed at propitiating the Supreme Person and controls his mind easily. Senses being subdued, his self is said to have become the self of all beings, wherein his self is similar to that of other beings like gods, etc. And differences are due to particular modifications of Prakriti, that is, bodies. Later in this text, 519, the Lord will teach for the Brahman when untainted is the same everywhere. Unembodied self is of the same nature all over, being in the form of knowledge, enlightened, thus is untainted and attains this self at the earliest. Since Karma Yoga is more easily pursued and more efficacious than Jnana Yoga, listen as if what it calls for. I will explain it. The knower of truth with respect to self should think that he does not do anything at all, but it is Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas, organs of action, and the prana, vital currents, which undertake their objects, and nothing emanates from my essential nature. Here, the term Brahman stands for Prakriti, as will be seen in 14.3 later. My womb is the great Brahman, as stated in 5.8. The one, while seeing, hearing, etc., thinks that all actions originate from Brahman, Prakriti, thinks that I am doing nothing. Such a one, despite being in contact with Prakriti, remains untainted by it, just like a lotus leaf is not drenched by water. He does not identify himself with the body. In order to cut off bonds of previous karma, entangling the self in samsara, the yogins perform actions that can be done through body, mind, intellect for self purification, renouncing attachment to heaven. Such a yogin, not going after fruits of action, but mainly concerned with the self and self purification, attains everlasting peace as the nature of bliss emanating from lasting experience itself. An unsteady person led by desire becomes attached to fruits of action and remains tied down to samsara, the cycle of birth and death. That is, unattached to fruits and attributing actions to Prakriti, which has assumed the form of senses, one's action should be aimed at freeing oneself from samsara. The Karma Yogin, giving up the fruits of actions, attains everlasting peace. But the unsteady man who is attached to fruits of actions through desire gets tied down. The Lord now expounds the natural aspect of self as it is. That is, the embodied self, any self within a body, which is self-controlled and resigning all karmas to the city of nine gates, which is the body comprising nine sensory motor functions, discriminates that the activities are the result of self enjoined in the body related to past karmas and not due to its nature. Although the embodied selves are in shape of gods like devas, animals, hiryat, men, immobile things, when conjoined with Prakriti, the jiva who is not subject to karma does not produce agency or doership of God, men, etc. Their actions, fruits from actions thereof. Who then produces them? Subtle impressions, vasanas or swabhava arising from Prakriti, that is the result when the self is conjoined with Prakriti in the shape of gods. When related to the past karmas accumulated from beginningless time. The omnipresent one, the Lord, takes away neither the sin nor the virtue of anyone. Real knowledge is covered by ignorance. The beings are thereby constantly failing the prey to delusion. However, the vasanas, which are contrary to jnana, produced ajnanenavritam jnanam, when the result of past karmas, and to enable experiencing his own karmas, the jnana is covered by ignorance. This karma contracts the knowledge. And in order that a person may be qualified to experience the fruits of his karmas, it is this karma which, contracting knowledge, can join the jiva of the bodies of gods, etc., leads to mistaking the bodies of selves. That misconception or misapprehension leads to vasanas and actions corresponding to them originate. The Lord puts the previous teachings in sequential perspective. With the boat of knowledge, you cross the sea of sins. The fire of knowledge reduces all the past karmas to ashes, and no purifier equal to knowledge exists. When, however, one's ignorance is destroyed by the knowledge of the self, that knowledge reveals everything as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. The knowledge of deluded selves is enveloped by delusive ignorance, is karma, coming from beginningless time. While in the case of enlightened ones, the ignorance is destroyed by knowledge, which is unlimited and uncontracted and illuminating everything like the sun. Those signifies tesham plurality of selves whose ignorance has been overcome. This means plurality not subject to limiting adjunct, upadhi, since those who have overcome ignorance have no trace of limiting adjunct. This is expressed by the text 212. There never was a time when I did not exist. Plurality. Those presupposes annihilation of ignorance. Knowledge here is expounded as an attribute inseparable from the essential nature of the self, similar to the case of luminous object and its luminosity. So, it is to be understood that knowledge contracts by karma when in samsara and expands during moksha, that is release. Tadbuddhayaha, meaning those whose intellect are keen to pursue the vision of the self. And tadatmanaha are always thinking about it. Those who practice discipline or it for assignment or its attainment, having it as the supreme object, which ones will be cleansed by the knowledge thus practiced. From this state, there is no return. They attain the self resting in its nature. Vidya and Vinaya are the two great qualities of sages who see in a Brahmin a cow, an elephant, a dog eater, the same form of knowledge or Antaratman, or Atman's true nature in them also. There, the creatures mentioned, dissimilar embodiments, they understand or due to Prakriti, that is, the wise understand all selves distinct, though have the same form of knowledge. Those considering all selves to be equal, Ihaiva conquer samsara while practicing the mean spirit. Nirdosham hi samam brahma. The substance of self, free from impurities of Prakriti, is awake everywhere, that being Atman or Brahman. Establishing oneself in Brahman means conquering samsara. Such an one meditates on equalness of all selves and is liberated. Mm. Mm. The Lord talks on Karma Yogin's type of life leading to maturity of knowledge as sameness of vision. One should not experience joy wherein the body due to past karmas. Subtle impressions or grieve at unpleasant experience. This is done by not getting deluded, by identifying the constant self with the impermanent body. How is it possible? Knowing Brahman through teachers, he establishes himself in Brahman with practices for winning Brahman. In the process, one does not regard the body as the self and experiences joy in the vision of constant self. That as one finding happiness in the self within himself and renouncing thinking about prakriti or bodily experiences, contemplates on Brahman, the Atman. In this way, he attains permanent bliss in the form of experiencing Brahman, the self. The Lord says it is easy to give up material pleasures. The Lord, as it were, addresses to the doubt as to how it is easy to give up material pleasures, the result of sense contacts from beginningless time. Having a beginning and an end, such pleasures lead to wombs of pain. He who knows them as such will not find pleasure in them. Before release from the body, if one is able to put up with the desire, the anger through his longing for the experience of self, he becomes eligible for that experience, and if that finds himself immersed in the bliss of the self after death. That is when Prarabdha karma ends. It means that when one is still in the body, neither Jivan Mukti nor complete liberation is possible. Embodied Jiva can achieve only Sthita Prajna state. The one who, giving up external experiences, finds and has joy within, that is, has his self itself as a pleasure garden. Happiness increases by the bliss, knowledge, etc. of the self. Such a person fits the description of a yogi who, becoming Brahman, the self, achieves its bliss. The seer, free from pairs of opposite like cold and heat, and with subdued minds are devoted to the vision of self. They are actively engaged in the welfare of all like their own self. Such seers, with impurities nullified, attain the bliss of the Brahman. The sages were free from the pairs of opposite, whose minds are disciplined and were actively engaged in the service of all beings, become cleansed of all impurities, and attain the bliss of Brahman. The Lord teaches those having similar characteristics as to how easy it is to attain Brahman. The ones who are free from lust and anger, habituated to exert themselves, whose mind have been controlled and conquered, such there is close proximity of the heavenly bliss. The Lord brings to a close Karma Yoga already begun as attained in the acme in the practice of yoga with the object of the vision with the self, shutting off external contacts and stopping sense functions, sitting in an upright position, yogic stance, fixing the gaze between the eyebrows at the root of the nose, regulating the outgoing prana and incoming apana breaths, ensuring that the senses, manas, intelligence are capable of only aiming at the vision of the self, being free from lust, fear, and anger, intent on the final goal of release, such as says, intent on the vision of the self is almost liberated and is at the verge of ultimate fruition. The sage who has brought his senses, mind, and intellect under control and is intent on his final goal and freed always from desire, fear, and anger is ever liberated. The Lord states in the next text that the Karma Yoga thus described, supplemented by performing both the obligatory and occasional rites, that is Nikta and Naimitya karmas, will result in which results in meditation is easy to practice. He attains happiness during the performance of Karma Yoga, knowing me as the enjoyer, Bhoktri, of all sacrifices, austerities, Sarvaloka Maheshwara, and as a friend of all creatures. Sheshat Svetashvatarvanishad tells it. The Lord of all worlds, knowing me thus, and as the friends of all beings, and regarding Karma Yoga as my worship, he willingly gets engaged in it. All beings strive to please Suhrit, that is friend. Having known me in reality as the enjoyer of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all the worlds, and the benefactor friend of all beings, my devotee attains peace. Tashantimapnoti tasmadrasamarambham yadhishekaravatyamam lakshmi vallabhavaryantam vande guruparamparam.